Hello everyone, welcome back to the session of English. In this session, we are going to continue with our chapter connectors. Now, this is part number 7. So, first of all, let us have a look over what we are going to discuss in this session. In this lecture, we will cover the following topics. First of all, we'll cover in spite of, then despite, and then contrary to. As I told you in our earlier session, when we started contradictory prepositions, there we discussed one of them, that was notwithstanding. So all these three are actually contradictory prepositions. Okay, so these are the types of contradictory prepositions that we are going to discuss in this session. Okay, so these are contradictory prepositions. Now, there are a few differences that we have already discussed in our earlier sessions about conjunction and prepositions difference. It means we have already covered the difference between conjunction and preposition. But I must tell you two things about prepositions over conjunctions, that whenever we have preposition in a sentence, what is actually the grammatical structure that is different from that of conjunction is that after preposition we can only have verb if the verb if we have any verb after preposition, it should be used in ing form. Okay, but if that is conjunction, it can be in any form. Okay, it can be used as the principal or the main verb, but after preposition it can only be used in ing form. Next of all, whenever we have preposition and any word which has been used as preposition, after that we can only have objective case of the pronoun. It means I cannot write I after preposition. Instead of this we can write me. Okay, so here after this we can only have the objective case and not the primary case, or not the nominative case. So we can only have objective case after preposition. So these are the identification points of preposition. Okay, we can only have an objective case of pronoun if any pronoun is there after the word preposition, after the preposition or after preposition. Now these three, in spite of, despite, and contrary to, these three are actually the contradictory connectors, or you can say contradictory prepositions, that we are going to discuss or elaborate in this session. So first we'll discuss in spite of. Now if you see this one, this in spite of, despite, they both are of same meaning, only the difference is of. In spite we use of, and in despite we cannot use of. It means in spite of is followed by preposition of, whereas despite is not followed by of. That is the only difference between in spite of and despite. Though the meaning of these two prepositions is same, also the uses of these two prepositions are same. Now first of all we'll discuss in spite of. Now first of all let us see the meaning of in spite of. In spite of is a preposition used to indicate that something happens or is true despite something else that might have prevented it. This phrase is used to introduce a contrasting condition, showing that one thing occurs regardless of the existence or occurrence of another potentially hindering factor. It means in this, whenever we use the word in spite of, okay, in spite of, these are separate words. In spite of, okay, in fact we cannot write in and despite together. We can write it like in spite of. Okay, and after that we make our sentence in two clauses. Now in this the clause which is having this word in spite of, now in this clause whatever we write, okay, suppose there is some information which we are giving in this statement, okay, and some information is there in this statement. Now something this one or this information, this creates some adverse circumstance. Okay, this creates some adverse circumstance or something negative, but here the information provided in this statement mentions that it does not get effect due to this condition. In fact this is unaffected of that adversity. So this adversity does not affect this statement, or whatever we write over here is contradictory to whatever we have written over here. Okay, so that is a hindering factor. It means if we see this one, this is the hindering factor, whereas this is something which is not get affected due to this hindrance. Okay, so let us get back to the slides. So let us discuss it later on. Discuss it further. In spite of is a useful prepositional phrase for expressing tenacity, unexpected outcomes, or the irrelevance of certain hindrances or obstacles to the outcome of a situation. It means the hindrances or obstacles that are shown, they are totally irrelevant because the outcome is always positive. It does not get affected due to the adversity or the adverse circumstances. Now, uses of in spite of. First of all, to indicate contradiction or contrast. In spite of the heavy rain, the outdoor concert went ahead as planned. It means this the heavy rain. It does not. It does. Sorry, it did not. It did not create any obstacle for the concert. The outdoor concert, it went ahead as planned, so it was not disturbed due to rain. Okay, so here we have used this in spite phrase to show this hindrance, but also to show that it was not affected due to the hindrance or the obstacle. This sentence shows that the event occurred even though there was a condition, that is heavy rain, that could have hindered it. To highlight resilience or persistence, in spite of numerous setbacks, the team managed to complete the project on time. So, in spite of numerous setbacks, the team managed to complete the project on time. It means there were many hindrances or obstacles for the team, yet they did the project, they completed the project on time. Here, in spite of is used to emphasize that the team achieved their goal despite facing several difficulties. To show unaffected outcome in adverse situations, in spite of his lack of experience, he did an excellent job. Okay, so in spite of his lack of experience, it means he lacked experience, or he was not experienced very much. He did an excellent job. Till then, or even then, he did an excellent job. It means this inexperience or the situation of lack of experience, it did not affect his determination or his performance in the job. This example illustrates that the person performed well regardless of a potentially limiting factor, that is lacking of experience. So this potentially limiting factor, it did not affect his capability or his performance. He performed really well. Okay, which was really not expected of him. To express surprising or unexpected results, in spite of the critics, the negative reviews, the movie was a box office success. It means in spite of the critics' negative reviews, it means the critics, they did not give suitable or the pleasant reviews. Still, the movie was a box office success. The phrase is used here to convey that the movie succeeded financially even though it received negative reviews, which is a surprising outcome. To compare and contrast different elements, in spite of the cold weather, the turnout for the parade was high. This shows a contrast between the discouraging factor, that is cold weather, and the positive outcome, that is high turnout. Okay, so here we can see two factors in which this shows a contrast between the discouraging factor. Okay, discouraging factor, and what is the discouraging or the adverse situation, that is cold weather. But what is the positive outcome? That the positive outcome is the high turnout. In spite of the cold weather, the turnout for the parade was high. In fact, now if there is really cold, the weather is really cold, maybe possible it is expected that no one will come to attend or to see the parade, but the people who came to see that parade were large number exceptionally. It means it was really not expected due to the cold weather. Still, a large number of a large amount of people or the large public went there or gathered there for the parade or to see that parade. The general structure can be outlined as follows. First of all, we have in spite of in the noun or the noun phrase or the gerund. Gerund means verb with ing. Okay, so we can only have verb with ing. We cannot directly have the verb after it. Then the main clause. In spite of, this is the prepositional phrase that introduces the contrast or contradiction. Second, noun, noun phrase or gerund. Following in spite of, you will find a noun phrase or a gerund verb in its ing form. This part of the sentence represents the conditions, fact or situation that is being contrasted with or is contradictory to the main statement. It means whatever is there given in the main statement, it contrasts the situation which has been said earlier or which is written in the subordinate clause, or you can say in the another clause other than the main clause. Okay, now main clause, this is the primary statement or assertion on the sentence which stands in contrast to or is unaffected by the condition introduced by in spite of. Okay, now the in spite of the bad weather, in spite of the bad weather, the event was a great success. It means this bad weather, it did not affect the event. In fact, it was a great success. It means which was really not expected. Just because the weather was bad, so what one can expect? He can expect that the event will be flop, but here we can see that it is the contradiction that can be seen, that there was bad weather, still the event was a great success. It means really it was worth. That is why many people appeared there or came there to see it, and that was really a great success. The bad weather is the noun phrase introduced by in spite of. The event was a great success is the main clause that presents the primary assertion. Okay, so here as well, this word in spite of behaves like the word notwithstanding, as we have already discussed in our earlier session. So this in spite of also serves the same meaning, that is the contradiction between the two statements or the two clauses of the same sentence. Okay, now whenever we have in spite of, if we have verb after it, it should be only in ing form. That means it is also known as gerund. Now in spite of having, now you can see over here that it is written having a headache, she finishes her work. It means having a headache is a gerund phrase, and she finished her work is the main clause. So both of these are coming together. Okay, showing in spite of, that in spite of means when something happens, but that does not make any relevant effect on the another action in the same sentence. Now rules associated with in spite of. First of all, contrast and introduction. In spite of is used to introduce a noun phrase or gerund that expresses a contrast or contradiction to the main part of the sentence. Example, in spite of the rain, the picnic was enjoyable. It means though there was rain, but it did not matter at all. It was totally irrelevant because the picnic was really enjoyable in that rain as well. Okay. Noun phrase or gerund. Now what is the difference among noun phrase or gerund? Let us see it over here. The phrase in spite of must be followed by a noun or a noun phrase or gerund, that is verb in its ing form, not by a clause. Correct, in spite of the difficulty we succeeded. Incorrect, now what can be the incorrect sentence? In spite of it was difficult, we succeeded. Now if we see it was difficult, this is just like a sentence or the sentence structure, but after in spite of, we can simply write the noun or the noun phrase. We need not write the entire sentence in which the sentence structure is over there, where we have subject plus verb plus object and so on. Okay, now let us move to the next one. No direct following by a clause. Unlike some conjunctions like although, in spite of cannot be directly followed by a clause with a subject and verb. Correct. In spite of his fatigue, he continued working. In spite, now what can be incorrect sentence? In spite of he was tired, he continued working. Now, he was tired, in spite of he was tired, that is incorrect. In spite of his fatigue. So, as I told you, that either we can use objective case or the prepositional phrase, or the possessive case, but we cannot use nominative case or the simple sentence. Okay, so in spite of his fatigue, he continued. Okay, but incorrect, what can be incorrect? If the same person is serving that the idea, or if it is hiding the speaker's disability, whereas highlighting the situation for that incident. Okay, now, comma usage. When in spite of introduces a sentence, it is often followed by a comma before the main clause, especially if what follows in a complete sentence. For example, in spite of her fear of heights, she climbed to the top floor of the tower. Okay, so just to get rid of that particular fear of heights, what she decided, she climbed to the top of the tower. So here we can see the example that in spite of her fear of heights, she climbed to the top of the tower. It means she was really it was her phobia that she had fear of heights. Still, till then, she climbed to the top of the tower just to overcome her fear, maybe. So this overcome, or this situation in which some overcome has been taken, some action that has been taken to overcome the fear, this can also be shown with the help of the preposition in spite of. Okay, now let us move to the next one. No effect on the main clause. The use of in spite of does not alter the grammatical structure of the main clause. In spite of the challenges, they remained optimistic. So whatever is written in the main clause, this in spite of clause will not affect the grammatical structure of the main clause. Interchangeability with despite. In spite of is similar in meaning with and function to the despite, so they can often be used interchangeably. It means they both are substitutes of each other. Example, in spite of or despite the bad weather, the event was a success. So we can use either of the two, but remember, after in spite we use the preposition of, but after despite we cannot use the preposition of. It is, if it is written over there, it means it is a grammatical error. Okay, no verb conjugation. In spite of does not require any verb conjugation or agreement with the subject of the sentence. Examples of in spite of: contrast with unexpected outcome. In spite of heavy snow, the marathon was still held. In spite of her initial reluctance, she ended up enjoying the event. Okay, so initial reluctance means she denied it again and again. Still, she ended up enjoying the event. It means in the last of the event, she really was enjoying it. She was really enjoying it. Highlighting resilience or persistence. In spite of facing numerous challenges, he managed to complete his degree. In spite of repeated failures, she never gave up on her dream. Unaffected outcome in adverse situations. In spite of economic crisis, the business thrived. In spite of losing its biggest investor, the startup continued to grow. It means this biggest investor, though they have lost it, it did not make any effect. The startup continued to grow. Instead, they were growing day by day. Expressing surprising or unexpected results. In spite of the critics' harsh comments, the play was a huge success. In spite of its low budget, the film won several international awards. Comparing and contrasting different elements. In spite of modern design, the building retained its historical charm. In spite of his professional achievements, he remained humble and approachable. Setting aside a particular fact while making a point. In spite of all the difficulties, their relationship remained strong. In spite of the risks involved, they decided to proceed the venture. Now we'll discuss the connector despite. Now, as I told you that in spite and despite both are the same meaning words, so despite also serve as the word in spite of. Now let us discuss this meaning of despite. Despite is used to express that an action was carried out or a state was maintained in spite of certain challenges or obstacles. It is a useful prepositional phrase for conveying resilience, unexpected outcomes, or their irrelevance of certain hindrances or obstacles. It means these hindrances, disturbances, and obstacles, they do not affect the situation which is described by the word despite, or the outcome of the situation. Now, despite introduces a noun phrase or gerund, but not full clause with the subject and the verb. It is often used interchangeably with in spite of, though despite is more concise. The primary function of despite is to introduce a contrasting element to the main statement of the sentence, often emphasizing resilience, unexpected outcomes, or irrelevance of certain hindrances or obstacles of the outcome of the situation. To highlight the resilience of persistence. Okay, now first of all, we'll discuss to express contradiction or contrast. Despite the heavy rain, the football match was not cancelled. It means there was heavy rain, but that does not matter at all. That was totally irrelevant. In fact, the football match was not cancelled. It means though there was heavy rain, but that did not affect their match. That did not affect their match. The football match was not cancelled. Okay, despite her young age, she has achieved remarkable success. It means though she was really very young, she has achieved remarkable success. To highlight resilience or persistence, despite numerous setbacks, he never lost hope. Despite facing a strong competition, this small company thrived. Okay, despite facing a strong competition, it means though the company was facing some competition, still they thrived. It means they grew. Or despite numerous setbacks, it means there were many challenges, still they never lost hope. Now the third one, to indicate an unaffected outcome in challenging situations. Despite the economic downturn, their profits increased. It means though the economy was in downturn, it means there was some downfall in economy, still the business it did not get affected. Their profits increased. In fact, they were in good profit. Despite limited resources, the event was a huge success. To illustrate surprising or unexpected result, despite receiving poor reviews, the movie became a blockbuster. Despite being a novice, she won the chess tournament. Novice means new or unexperienced. Okay, it is unexperienced. Okay, now let us move to the next one. To compare and contrast different elements. Despite the simplicity of the recipe, the dish tastes exquisite. Okay, despite the simplicity of the recipe, it means recipe was really very simple. Still, the taste exquisite, it means it was really scrumptious. The dish was really delicious. Okay. Despite the advancements in technology, some prefer traditional methods. It means yes, of course, the technology has grown up to large, but there are a few people who still prefer traditional methods. Okay. Despite, now the structure of despite. First of all, we have despite in the sentence, then noun phrase or the gerund, then the main clause. For example, this is the preposition that introduces the contrast or the contradiction. Noun phrase and gerund. Following despite, you will find either a noun phrase, or a gerund, that is verb in its ing form. This part of the sentence represents the condition, fact, or situation that is being contrasted with or is contradictory to the main statement. Main clause. This is the primary statement or assertion of the sentence, which stands in contrast to or is unaffected by the condition introduced by despite. For example, despite the bad weather, the festival was a great success. Okay, so the bad weather was there, still it did not affect the festival. It was a great success. The bad weather is the noun phrase introduced by despite, whereas the festival was a great success is the main clause that presents the primary assertion. Despite feeling unwell, Now here you can see despite, and after that feeling, that is gerund. Okay, unwell, because despite he was not feeling well, so we cannot write the entire sentence that he was not feeling well. We can write despite feeling well, he completed the marathon. Feeling unwell is a gerund phrase, whereas he completed the marathon is the main clause. Now the main clause, it can be of the entire part, that is the subject plus verb plus object, but the remaining part, it consists of only the thing that is describing the contradiction. Okay, only the gerund phrase or the noun phrase. Okay, rules associated with despite. First of all, introducing contrast or contradiction. Despite is used to introduce a noun phrase or gerund that provides a contrast or contradiction to the main clause of the sentence. For example, despite the heavy rain, the parade continued as planned. It means though heavy rain was there, it did not affect the parade. The parade continued as planned, as it was planned. Okay, so this heavy rain, the bad weather, the heavy rain, it did not affect the parade. Okay, following by a noun phrase or gerund. Despite should be followed by a noun phrase or gerund. Now what is noun? Noun is any name. Then noun phrase means a phrase that consists of a noun, then any modifier of the noun. Okay, and then the gerund or the gerund. Actually, gerund means that is noun form of verb. It means whenever we have verb with ing and that creates a noun, that is known as gerund. Okay, the ing form of a verb, but not a full clause with the subject or verb. Okay, the main clause can be of subject plus verb plus object. Okay, this should be the main clause. Correct, despite the cold weather, they went hiking. Incorrect, despite it was cold. Now, it was cold cannot be written after despite. No direct clause following. Unlike conjunctions such as although or though, despite cannot be directly followed by a clause containing a subject and a verb. Correct. Despite his lack of experience, John performed well. But if I write despite he had no experience, so this will be incorrect. Okay. Comma usage. When despite introduces a sentence, it is often followed by a comma before the main clause, particularly if what follows is a complete sentence. Example, despite the challenges, the team achieved their goal. No impact on the main clause. The presence of despite does not alter the grammatical structure or tense of the main clause or the sentence. Despite the risk, she decided to invest. Okay. Interchangeable with in spite of. Despite is similar in meaning to the in spite of and can often be used interchangeably. It means it can be substituted in place of in spite of. Example, despite in spite of the late hour, the streets were bustling. It means the time was really late. It was late hour. Still, the streets were bustling. Okay. Example of despite, contrast with unexpected outcome. Despite the storm, the festival proceeded. It means there's a storm. It did not affect the festival. It proceeded. Despite her fear, she spoke confidently. Though she was she was afraid. Still, she spoke confidently. Highlighting resilience or persistence. Despite setbacks, he completed his project. Despite criticism, she continued her research. It means nothing could prevent them from doing something, so they did whatever they want to do. They did whatever they wanted to do. Unaffected outcome in adverse situations. Despite the recession, their businesses flourished. Despite a tight budget, the film was successful. Okay. Expressing surprising or unexpected results. Despite bad reviews, the novel became a bestseller. It means the reviews were not good. Still, the novel became bestseller. It means there were many copies of the novel which were sold out. Despite being a newcomer, he won the race. It means though he was a newcomer, he won the race. So here we have written despite being. So being shows the state of being of someone. If I had written although over here, though over here, I could write though he was a newcomer. But the ing form of this be is being. So we can write this, that despite being a newcomer, he won the race. Comparing and contrasting different elements. Despite its age, the car runs well. Despite technological advances, they prefer traditional methods. Setting aside a particular fact while making a statement, despite the evidence, he maintained his innocence. It means though there were evidence, still they maintained their innocence. Sorry, he maintained his innocence. It means he was not, uh, you can say, accused. In fact, he maintained his innocence. Despite her qualification, she remained humble. Okay. Now we'll discuss connector contrary to. So we have already discussed in spite of, then despite. Now it is time to discuss the connector, that is contrary to. So first of all, we'll discuss the meaning of contrary to. Contrary to is particularly useful for emphasizing a difference or contradiction, often in a way that may be surprising or counterintuitive to the listener or reader. It means whosoever is the listener or whoever the reader is. This word contrary to shows a statement which is useful for emphasizing the difference or the contradiction. It means two statements are there. One is showing the contradiction of the other, and that is the statement which is introduced by the you can say connector contrary to. Now, contradicting common beliefs or expectations. Contrary to popular opinion, he decided to retire early. Contrary to expectations, the movie was not a commercial success. Now, if you see the first sentence, it is written contrary to popular opinion. It means there is a popular opinion, but contrary to it, it means opposite to it. It means if we do not follow that opinion, he decided to retire early. It means there is a series which is followed by everyone, but he did not follow that. He was the exception of that. Contrary to expectations, the movie was not a commercial success. It means everybody, he expected that the movie will be good, the movie will be bad, but it was contrary to the expectations. It means it was not expected at all. Something opposite has happened, that is, the movie was not a commercial success. It means though all the people, they expected that the movie will be a great success, contrary to that expectation, it was not at all. The movie was not a commercial success. Then correcting misconceptions or false assumptions. Contrary to the rumor, the restaurant is not closing down. It means this rumor is contradictory. It means the restaurant is not closing down. It is contrary to the rumor. Okay, so it is just the contradiction of that rumor. Contrary to initial reports, the event was well attended. Showing opposition in facts or situations. Contrary to her cheerful demeanor, she was actually very upset. Contrary to this sunny forecast, the day was cloudy and rainy. Okay, so contrary to sunny forecast, it means sunny forecast and something opposite happened to it, that the day was cloudy and rainy. It means sunny forecast means the forecast was of sunny weather, but something opposite happened that was contradictory to that forecast. What was that? The day was cloudy and rainy. It means there was rain all the day, and the day was really cloudy and rainy. Highlighting unusual or unexpected outcomes. Contrary to what everyone thought, the underdog team won the championship. Contrary to the trend, sales decreased this quarter. Setting the record straight. Contrary to the allegations, the company complied with the regulations. Contrary to his public image, he is quite approachable and friendly. Okay, so contrary to the allegations, it means there were some allegations on the company which were and the expectation was that the company will not grow now. But contrary to those allegations, the company complied with all regulations. Contrary to his public image, he is quite approachable and friendly. It means maybe possible his appearance or his image or his public image is not good, but when I met him personally, I found that he is approachable and friendly. Okay, so contrary means the opposite of what has been mentioned. Structure of contrary to. First of all, we'll write contrary to, then noun or the noun phrase, or that the main clause. Main clause. Now, contrary to, this preposition introduces or contrasts the contradiction. Noun and noun phrase. After contrary to, you will find a noun or the noun phrase that represents the idea, belief, or situation that is being contradicted or opposed in the main part of the sentence. Then main clause, this is the primary statement or assertion of the sentence which presents information or a situation that is in opposition to the idea introduced by contrary to. For example, contrary to popular belief, the earth is not flat. It means earlier it was believed that the earth is flat, but contrary to that popular belief, it means if we go opposite to that popular belief, the earth is not flat. Popular belief is the noun phrase introduced by contrary to. The earth is not flat is the main clause that presents the contrasting fact. Contrary to expectations, the play was a huge success. Expectations is the noun phrase and the play was a huge success is the main clause. Now, rules associated with contrary to, introducing a contradiction or opposition. So, the primary function or primary rule of contrary to is to introduce that statement or that clause that shows the contradiction. Okay, so introduces a noun or the noun phrase that expresses a concept, belief, or the situation that is in direct opposition or contradiction to what is stated in the main clause of the sentence. For example, contrary to popular belief, bats are not blind. Okay, now it is popularly believed that bats are blind, but contrary to popular belief, that means this popular belief is not correct. In fact, opposite to it. If we oppose this, actually the real fact is that bats are not blind. Followed by a noun or the noun phrase. Contrary to must be followed by a noun or a noun phrase. It does not directly precede a full clause with a subject and a verb. Subject and verb. Correct. Contrary to the forecast, it rained heavily. Incorrect. Contrary to it was forecasted, it rained heavily. Now this can be the correct part, contrary to the forecast, but if I write contrary to it was forecasted, now we cannot write subject plus verb structure, so that will be incorrect. Contrast with the main clause. The statement following contrary to should present a fact or situation that contrasts with or opposes the idea introduced by the prepositional phrase. Example, contrary to expectations, the event was cancelled. Okay. No direct clause following. Unlike conjunctions, like although or even though, contrary to cannot be followed directly by a clause containing a subject and a verb. Example, contrary to his quiet demeanor, he is an excellent public speaker. No impact on verb conjugation. Now, no impact on verb conjugation. The use of contrary to does not affect the conjugation of verbs or the grammatical agreement within the sentence. Examples of contrary to: contradicting common beliefs. Contrary to popular opinion, he enjoys classical music. Contrary to common perception, the task was quite easy. Okay, so they are contrasting the common perception. In fact, they are saying the task was quite easy. Correcting misconceptions. Contrary to the rumor, she is not leaving the company. It means this is just a rumor. She is not leaving the company. Contrary to initial reports, the event was well attended. The third one, showing opposition in facts or situations. Contrary to expectations, the product failed in the market. Contrary to the forecast, we experienced sunny weather. Okay, it means something else was mentioned in the forecast. Highlighting unusual or unexpected outcomes. Contrary to what we thought, the underdog team won. Contrary to predictions, the movie was a critical success. Setting the record straight. Contrary to allegations, the data was not manipulated. Contrary to his public image, he is very down to earth. Okay, it means his public image was not good, but it is just wrong. He is very down to earth. So all these were the examples of contrary to. Now we have discussed in this session three prepositions or three contradictory prepositions. Those were in spite of, despite, and then contrary to. And we can easily analyze that all these three prepositions, they are same, or they are of the same meaning and usage. Okay, I hope you have understood the meanings of all these prepositions. Now in the next session we will be discussing some more connectors. Till then, thanks to you.